So we stopped here by this reservoir in the middle of the Richtersveld. Gonna make some lunch now. So I've improvised the table. And we're gonna put all the chicken strips now inside here. Like that. The wind blows here, so you don't want your router to blow away. So excuse the shaky filming for the second. This doesn't blow away. We're going to go here to our dustbin, which we conveniently emptied after breakfast. That's the dust here is something else. Hey, look at this. Unbelievable. Right, that is going into the oven for later. So if you're coming and you're doing this part of the eco trail and you get to a fork in the road and there's this tire that says 4x4, you can take either. They're both going to tee into the same bigger road heading to Xen Fontaine, but the actual eco trail route is the right hand side fork. So that's the one we're taking. Tracks for Africa will tell you to go left. I don't know why, but that's what it's telling us to do. My Gaia GPS, it shows clearly there's two routes you can take. They both go to the same way. So we're about to hit the main road, and this is where the value of Gaia has come in very handy, giving me distances between each junction. So now I know the distance I've got to travel before I get to Xen Fontaine, which is here. Helps us plan, because it's already 1:10 and you don't really Rooiberg Vloerspa 4x4 route. You don't really want to get caught with your pants down. Although this is the type of place where you can just camp wherever you want to. But there's far less natural protection here than there was on the first section of the eco trail. So if you camp out here and a heavy wind or something rolls through, you're pretty much on your own. So this is us now coming into a town called Xen Fontaine, and again, if you're on the eco trail, this is where you're going to pick up a little bit of signal. So should you need comms urgently, this is another area where you'll get it after fuel strift. So you'll see there on the map, we're going to go straight through the town. We've already been driving we've been up and going for about 8 hours today already.
There's the Fontaine.
There's the Drankwinkel.
This guy's got
1, 2, 3, 4 cars. He's obviously the mayor of Xen Fontaine with his 4 cars. We've actually found a stop street, believe it or not. The first one we've seen in quite some time. So you'll proceed through the town the same way we are if you come this way, which inevitably you're going to have to get to where you want to go. And then at the end of town you'll get to a T-junction where you can go either left or right, and we're going to go left. So we've just passed another lovely couple in a cruiser. They just left the caves where we're going now, so it's quite nice. However, this allows me a valuable opportunity to mention that, again, research. Do not have additional fuel. They only have their long range tank, 200 liters, and they were counting on there being fuel available in fuel strift or here in Xen Fontaine, which there is none yet. The next fuel up is going to be for them in Pofadder, so it's going to be touch and go for them, and they're running out of water. So we sent them to a spot where they can fill up water. Fuel though, they're going to have to, we advised them to take the most direct route through to the next fuel station. So guys, always research. We've got about 150 k's to go, and then we'll be in Alexander Bay, of which there is fuel. Maybe 200 k's if we go play a bit, but we're sitting between 3/4 and a full tank. So we have nailed the fuel for this trip. Admittedly, we are a day and a half ahead of schedule, but even if we only had half a tank, that is 135 liter tank, half of that, we'd still have enough to complete the rest of this trip. So you'll eventually come through Xen Fontaine, take the T-junction left, and then you'll get to another fork in the road where there's a very dilapidated sign, and on the right it'll say Kubus, which is the route you want to take if you are going to continue on with the trip and go to the caves. So I want to try and show you guys the road here quickly. This is a better section of it, and I know a lot of guys will look at this and say, but that's nothing. You're right, it's nothing for 100 meters. Now come and drive 30 k's of this, which we've just done, up, down, camber, through the mountains where there's no map, nothing other than what the GPS shows you, and even that the road says closed. So I'm just recording the cruiser. I want you to try and watch the body roll and the shaking of it. Okay, I see we've got a spotlight loose. Riley, just stop there, stop. I see we've lost the spotlight. Almost lost the spotlight. Bolt has come, you see there's my mark. And it's twisted out. Let's have a look. So that's one. That one, the mark is still proud. This I'm going to have to fix quick and fast. Luckily the nut is still on. So we're going to have to just nip this up. Here, hold your buddy.
It's like a size big.
Size big.
19? Too big.
Let's go, let's give it a bash. Fuck, you don't have a short one.
I do.
I can't get it on. Oh, stubby! What's that? It's 20, 21, 19. Let's try. Yeah, 19.
Maybe we should get a socket.
No, this one.
It's not clicking, is it? Clicking hard.
I'm not getting hard, but this is. Check out. Against the bumper here. Ding 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 ding. No, fucking that one's fine.
Maybe we didn't see it. Short little Richtersveld came in handy.
Well, tell them what you think about this part of the trail.
Fucking shit.
No swearing.
I mean, oh, this part of the trail is not the greatest. Look at it. After all 5 or 6 days of this rubbish, we took a shortcut, and look at it. It is rock, 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 rock. Sorry, Chubbles. Sorry, my boy. He's been nasty to you, but I'll love you still, don't worry.
Alright guys, so we sorted that out. I'm going to keep showing you what we're talking about. Pardon?
Well spotted.
100%. I was in front of the car, it's easy to see. I'm just glad we caught it before it fell off and damaged the light.
Oh, it's like a 15 grand light.
100%. It's not lying, it says they're about 11k each. So big money. Ooh, almost saw my ass there. Right, buddy, remember when you get in, that's a picture, stand by. So, we'll do this again, check the balance and the roll of the vehicle. I'm not going to try and walk backwards down here. So we've just come down this stretch of road here, it winds all the way up to the top of that mountain, and we've realized not only the spotlight is loose, but we've got a latch issue on the LU cab canopy camper. Check here. Let me close it for you to show you. Watch your head. Okay, that one is lacquer. Close there, Wally. Okay, you see here? Dead right. Check here.
Can't see inside.
So this is completely out. So it doesn't even open. You got to open the other side first, and then it'll open.
What was it? How's that side?
So we're just not catching deep enough in here, so I'm going to try and MacGyver something quickly. So what I've done is I've taken the axe and I've just scored this piece, and now I should be able to bend it enough to eventually get it to snap off. Now I need to just trim it down to size to fit it in here and just give that an extra 5 mils of clearance.
And cut yourself.
No, shouldn't. There we go. I'll get this to stay there, and I'll see if it's going to work. No. It's better, but I need more. Oh, let's do some more. Right, so I've just duct taped 2 pieces together. Just a little proof of concept quickly. Well, I actually think I can see the problem here.
What's the problem?
Look at that latch.
Yeah.
Look at its orientation from the door. And look at this latch's orientation. It's about half. Which means that latch, when it's in, will push harder than this latch. There we go. Check. Like brand new. So this latch has obviously failed. The mechanism is not right, because they're identical latches. So our little gamble paid off, although it was quite a drive. It certainly wasn't easy, but we've arrived at the campsite now, Bakkrans campsite, and it's cool. Unfortunately there's no one else here, because again we are a little bit early. We only booked this for Wednesday night, and tonight is Monday night. So this is cool. I'm not sure if it's 100% worth. Oh, it looks like it could be worth the drive, yeah. So the caves are cool. I'm not gonna lie to you. This is pretty unique. Wow. Definitely grateful that we made the decision to come here. I really am, because I would have been sad to have missed a spot like this. Let's go for a little exploration around our campsite, shall we? Down there we've got the shower. Over here is the living area. My bedroom is there. That is our roof. This shall be our fire pit. And there yonder is our front lawn. So this is the Bakkrans campsite. It is a cave campsite, which is one of the camps you can book. You can come up here as well. where there is a secondary cave. So I assume maybe if you were that way inclined you could come and camp up here. You'd not be able to get your vehicle up here without damaging a lot of things on the little trail as well as your vehicle. But the lower cave is perfectly good enough, in my opinion. Really nice spot. The route that we took to get here, however, was it wasn't a difficult trail. It was just arduous in the terms that it was long and unwavering in its just ruggedness. I suppose you drive that sort of trail for 2.5-3 hours, you're going to be tired regardless of what you drive. So we're sitting here busy planning the return trip home, and as luck would have it, it seems that the return trip's going to be just as exciting as the eco trail. Quite looking forward to that. Almost ready for bath time. It is the morning and we are departing the cave campsite. Those of you wondering how we found it very nice. However, a couple of things to be mindful of. This is one of 2 established campsites on the Richtersveld side of the eco trail. There's this and there's Tierhoek. Now the problem with that is, being only 2 established campsites, people tend to come here more often, therefore the campsite is busier, and as a result of that, people are negligent in their actions, leaving food scraps etc. lying around, which meant we had a lot of rats around last night. We have obviously applied the rat ban spray and all of that stuff to the vehicle. However, we still are worried. You don't know what has happened or what could happen, so it's just a case of wait and see, I guess. But there was a huge number of rats around here. So one of the fun things about driving at night like this is we literally only can rely on the GPS to navigate, and so far we've done really well. We're making much better time than I anticipated we would. We are probably about 10 minutes away from Tierhoek, which I only estimated us to get here after sunrise based on yesterday's driving experiences. So we've done very well. But just as an example, I don't know how well, let me just drop the brightness here, how well you guys can see the map here in terms of detail on Gaia versus Tracks for Africa, which doesn't even show the road that we're on. So this is the way to go for this trip. We've been driving for 58 minutes. We've covered 37.4 kilometers this morning already, and this is the best set of roads we've experienced, although it's questionable whether this is a road, but it's the best terrain we've driven since leaving Xen Fontaine. Right, so we've left the Tierhoek. Well, one is Tierhoek, one is Tierhoek. I don't know which one is the right name, but Gaia says one thing and the map says another thing, and the campsite sign says something different. Anyway, we've come back to the main road to chill and watch the sunrise, and then when it's a bit lighter we'll shoot back that way into that dark void and show you guys the campsite. We are having a pre-sunrise breakfast. It is...
The problem is we still have Fontaine time.
Yes, that's also true. So, but at home by now, we've left for the school run. The sun is up. Life is continuing. Here, it's sun comes up at 7:20. I mean, how do you are wasting like a whole hour almost. Anyway, breakfast, sunrise, Tierhoek. Another day, another cracker of a sunrise. So we arrived through this section in the total darkness. We came from down there all the way up, then we came back up this way. And we arrived here, we could see the mountains, but we couldn't see the definition and the campsites in that gully there. But I wanted to wait for it to be light before I took you guys in there to show you. Otherwise you don't get to see how cool it is. It's obviously spectacular, which is why they made it one of the campsites here. But it's been a good trip so far. Today will be our last day on the eco trail. We were able to complete the eco trail in 4 days. It would have been 5 or 6 had there not been so many closures and had there not been so much flood damage. However, we still thoroughly enjoyed ourselves. We did drive the trail in its entirety from Kleinpelle through to Tierhoek, whatever you want to call it. But we still need to get to Alexander Bay, and then we can say we've essentially completed the entire eco trail. We didn't drive the first section, but from what I've heard, it's nothing to be too excited about. We'll probably come back. I'd like to come back in the flower season on the west coast, because this can be done. I mean, if you skip Kamgab, you do the first section, you camp somewhere in Pella, and then from Pella you drive through to Groot Melkboom and you camp there. That's not a terrible campsite. You skip Romansdrift, you drive through and you wild camp somewhere. Don't do Kamgab. I recommend it, but this is what I would do just to speed up the process. I wouldn't do Kamgab. I would skip it, because it's a very long trail down, extremely long trail down from the main section to the campsite and then back out. I would then continue past and wild camp somewhere else, which would then lead you to exiting the Namakwa side of the trail. The Richtersveld side, listen, I'm not going to lie to you, it's not bad, it's nice. We did it because we wanted to see, but I couldn't be bothered to ever come back and do this part of the trail because it was pretty lousy, I won't lie. But everybody enjoys different things. We're all the way here. There are aspects of it that's beautiful. The cave campsite, the Bakkrans that we were at last night, was very cool. This campsite, we won't be staying here, but it also looks really nice. However, the Namakwa side of the trail is incredible. I will come back time and time again to see that place. So now that it's a bit lighter, we'll show you this is the entrance. You'll go past the geological history of this spot, and then you can pretty much pick and choose where you want to camp. However, if I'm right, the better campsites will be at the base of that little V in the mountain there.
Also got those newfangled waterless swimming pools here.
Yeah, we've seen quite a few of these waterless reservoirs. Obviously at one stage this used to be a large sort of cattle area, and I would assume that they had windmills that were able to fill these, so the cattle and the goats and the sheep etc. could come out and get water at different points throughout their grazing periods or whatever it is that the oaks did. But as with everything else on this trail, you've had people come through and basically just deface everything, from trees to rocks to even the reservoirs, man-made structures. They've just absolutely showed us again, wow, humans are trash.